Hello, and welcome back to Real Talk.
That was
Jamie.
such a casual intro. I love it.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Connor.
Oh.
Yes.
We are back.
Yeah. Episode, what did we say this was?
19.
Episode 19.
Yes.
What are we talking about today, boys?
This week we're talking a bit about our training, and well, you're going to start that. So
Yeah, it's just like our coaching, what we're kind of doing up to the semi-finals, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
General training
kind of
chat.
stuff. It's a general training pre-semi-final.
Lovely. You know what we
Yeah.
still didn't do since we recorded the last episode?
What?
Is get the damn remote.
we have no remote, but I have my trusty watch.
Wow.
So-
we're really on
We
the
are
ball.
pros at this,
2,
guys.
1.
Boom. Okay.
We are active.
Okay.
We're go.
Firstly,
Thunderbirds.
this
are go.
watch is very good.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't invested. I'm asking for months. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want this one.
What brand is it? Garmin.
Yeah.
well, it's a Garmin, but
Okay.
basically, I spent ages trying to think like, did I want one? Did I not want one? Will I wear it in training?
Yeah.
And all of this stuff. And then, like, whenever I did team like a year ago, COVID has messed up the whole year. But
I
yeah.
have no idea what.
So
like,
back then, when I did team,
back in the day.
Pre-COVID.
my whole team are wearing them, and I was like, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like just pretty cool
They're all
looking.
like the Power Rangers are all talking to each
Yeah,
other on their watch.
100%,
And you're like,
that's literally what I was
guys,
thinking.
tell me the thing. And
Yeah.
they teleport
I
around.
think just press the button just for the crack. Like, you do a load of pull-ups, just go beep. It's like, just look cool.
Robo
Um,
pull-ups.
Yeah, so I got one in the end. But one is good for coaching just because you don't have to set your timer and stuff when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
always doing PTs and all. Just press that. And also just heart rate, steps, distance for running. The other day I was up the mountain, actually. This is pretty cool. And the GPS was on it, but I didn't really have any. I didn't want to run a different route. And I didn't really know where I was going to go. So I just said, track me. So you just press go and you start running. And it has the full like GPS map up of like the mountains and where you're at. But it runs a red line the whole way through. So when I'd kind of seen that I had done a certain distance, say like 3.5, 4K, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. But I didn't remember the turns, but I just had to follow my red line.
That's
So
pretty cool.
Oh,
That's
That's very cool.
That is actually very
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Also, if you just get lost on
Yeah,
a big
yeah, yeah.
hike or something
Help.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They become kind of addictive though, I think, tracking all
Mm.
that stuff, because I know people who like, we've been out like just going for a little hike or something, and then they get to the bottom, they're like, fuck, I didn't track that. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
does it
I
really,
haven't done
you're
my
like, you did it,
steps
like,
and
who,
all that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
it's
no, that is
so,
true.
are they similar to, you know, there's like the Whoop, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What's the
Whoop
crack
is a
with
bit
that? I've
different.
seen,
Whoop tracks. I don't think it tracks running or anything like that.
okay.
It has no clock face, so it actually
It has no
doesn't-
clock face, but it's like really in depth.
Apparently, it's the most accurate for your sleep
Yeah.
and that kind
Okay.
of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, sleep
but
and recovery.
it gives
Yeah.
you like a strain score. So I think the highest strain you can get is 20.
Mhm.
And were you saying Noah Olsen is always up at 19? Or
He
someone
was
said
put up
that?
something recently. That he's been on like a 20 for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I can fully
Well, then
understand.
the highest score is 21, I think, because he was one
Yeah.
off, and I don't know if you can even max out the
Yeah.
highest score. Like,
Yeah, he was
Without
just wrecked or
dying.
something.
You can do it once, and then you're dead.
yes,
That's
yeah, gone.
Yeah, you
and
can
you're
be-
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Gone.
'cause there's a few people in the class who have them. There's a little Whoop group
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the
there's
class.
Whoop
Everyone,
group.
yeah,
Yeah.
tracking.
Nice.
But yeah, obviously the clock then on the watch, it's more of a smartwatch rather than just a fitness tracker.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
It's handy seeing obviously the watch face and that type of thing, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
just for, I don't know, recovery. And I was playing tennis last night, and my mate was saying that it even knows what sport you're doing. So when he goes home, it will say tennis activity, and it'll just tell him how he
Yeah.
played tennis.
Yeah.
Great.
In reality,
Cycling.
you're on the Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch,
Sitting on
a
the
bowl
Wii.
of popcorn on your
Yeah.
lap, just playing tennis.
Yeah,
It's good-
but
good
no, I
tennis.
think they're good addition. It's definitely a good addition for my training, just for, I don't know, running, seeing your heart rate,
Yeah.
adding heart rate training into my programming.
I'm
pretty good.
I'm like 90% on the fence of getting one, but I've been 90% on the fence of getting one
For
for
years.
about 7 months now. So
Yeah.
I just need to bite the bullet.
It would make sense realistically if you'd have one.
Yeah,
Right? 'Cause I
I'm
see-
really keen to know if I'm running along, and it says you're currently running at this pace. To
Yeah.
know, otherwise I'm just basing it off.
My shoes
Feel.
have that built into them. My running shoes. Yeah,
Shoes.
I've Under Armour shoes, the hovers they're called or something.
Yeah.
And they've got a Bluetooth tracker in them, so when I turn on my run app on my phone, it connects to my shoes, right? And then as I'm running, then my phone's like, okay, your stride is too big, so my steps are too long.
That's
so it's
cool.
like shorten your it was actually, my running was really bad and my knees were terrible because I was taking really long steps and like slamming down on my knees.
Yeah.
And I was ignoring the app completely because I was like, what does this app know?
Yeah.
And like my knees were totally shot. And then I like changed my running style, like I listened to like exactly what the app was telling me. It's like take shorter steps but faster, and you look like an idiot. Yeah, you look so strange. Like I went for a run with my brother. He's like, "That's how you run." I was like, "I know, it looks ridiculous because you look like you look like your mom jogging or something. Like your steps are so short."
Yeah, we earlier in the year we had this part of our training was like you'd put on a metronome. So it was like a thing going.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I had to match my steps on
the pacing.
runner for like 3
Nice.
minutes of 172 beats.
Exactly.
per minute or
Yeah.
something.
The amount of strides. It's crazy though, because it did wonders. Like my 5K went from like 27 minutes down to like 21.
Whoa,
Nice.
that's very
Yeah,
good.
just by like
Technique.
my fitness went up a little bit, of course,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
mostly technique, because my knees weren't shot and I wasn't like, my legs weren't totally gassed from like slamming them and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, those shoes are really cool. Anyway, sorry, bit of a
Very
tangent
cool.
there. Yeah.
No, very good tangent.
Mm.
Nice.
Anyways, coaching. We were talking about coaching. was the
Coaching,
idea, right?
Yes.
What were we saying?
This is why people listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious. Obviously,
Future
Jamie,
shoes.
you were coaching yourself.
Yep.
Some people know that, some people don't. And then what is the kind of thought process behind that? Because surely having someone do your programming and take all that off your mind might be easier.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what.
I think it depends. So I could do a long version of this, but it depends like what stage you're at, like in your training and in your CrossFit kind of journey, I suppose. So when I started at CrossFit, I was like doing classes, and then I was like, hey, I want to up this. So I started programming for myself, but I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and I was just picking the hardest workouts I could find, absolutely killing myself, and then doing it again and again, then burning out, having to take 3 or 4 days off. But I was just really into just the whole CrossFit and watching the games and just picking crazy workouts and seeing how I do. So that was like, I think the first stage of just really getting into it. It wasn't really the right way of doing it, I'd say, to get a coach at that stage, because they'll be able to like slowly build you up. Then kind of right when I was like training for regionals and sanctionals and that type of thing, I did have a coach, and I followed everything he said, and it was really good. It did a huge amount for my training. But for me, I put like 100% trust into a coach if they are kind of looking over me. Like I have to do everything they say. So that just kind of, for right now, I think I just know my body a lot better. So even though I know my body well, if Sam was my coach and he was saying to me, today you have to do like a massive back squat day, even if my knee's a bit sore, I'm like, no, Sam said I have to do it, so I'm going to do it. Otherwise I fail. So
Okay.
I think that's the biggest reason for myself coaching myself at the minute. Ever since I got my shoulder repaired, I kind of started saying, all right, I want to take control of my own training. I've been under a coach now for 3 years. I've been doing CrossFit for 5 years. I think I know my body quite well. But at the same time, I also talk with John Singleton from the program, and he's real sound because he knows I'm doing all of my own programming. He knows that I'm selling my program to other clients as well, but he's still sound enough to let me stay on his program. And I might check that out once a week or once every 2 weeks just to see some kind of ideas of what the main athletes are doing. I talk to Sam, or at least see what Sam's doing. So I get a good overview of what the top athletes are doing. And then from there, I'm like, okay, I had this planned, but I might sub this out or add this in. So it just lets me have a full overview and kind of just mix and match what other people are doing as well, you know. So yeah, that's
Makes sense.
how I do my own stuff.
It makes sense when you say your body and stuff. That makes sense. Was it hard to, or did it take long to kind of get good at programming? Does that make sense?
Yeah, big time. See, the one reason I think I'm good at programming for myself is a lot of people always say that if you program for yourself, you only do the things you like. Well, I'm usually the opposite. I normally only do the things I don't like. So I was talking to one of the lads here the other day, and I was saying that he hit some PBs, and then he realized that one of his movements were a bit weak, and he was really pissed off. He's like, oh, I've been training for ages and I've been hitting PBs, but this lift now just isn't nearly strong enough. I was like, if that was me training, I'd be a bit pissed off that my lift isn't heavy, but I'd be really happy that I've just identified a massive weakness, because now if I'm already getting good scores in CrossFit workouts and now I have a big weakness, I know that there's loads of room for that to grow, which means everything else is going to get better. So I will normally try to I make little notes if I'm like repeating regional workouts or repeating open workouts of what a weakness is, and then hit a target of like the total volume I want to be able to do in that. So say we do a pull-up workout, and after 100 total pull-ups in a 20-minute AMRAP, I'm dead. Well, I needed 150 to have a really good open score. Well, then I'm like, okay, I need to be able to do 150 chest to bars on the minute every minute, in 15 minutes or in 10 minutes or something like that.
150 on the minute.
Yeah. 100, no, 15 every minute for 10 minutes. Give me that
Man is
150.
on a next
But that
level.
type of thing. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I like to train. Well, I don't like to train my weaknesses, but I program my weaknesses, and I think that's a good way of improving.
That makes sense.
Sam just trains everything all day, every day. That's kind of his method.
That's my style.
Yeah.
Do it all and do it often.
And then, so Sam, what goes into your choices for picking a coach or a program, or what's the last kind of 2 years looked like in as far as what your decisions have
so
been?
I was doing like I programmed for myself for a long while, and I kind of like I was probably not at the stage. Jamie was saying his stage where you can program for yourself. I was probably too early in the stage to program for myself. So it was getting a bit more like the early stage where I do all the cool games workouts and stuff like that. But I wasn't like sitting down and writing, okay, I need to be on the assault bike for 30 minutes on this day or something like that. It wasn't as, I was skipping the foundation grunt work kind of stuff. Yeah. Then I hopped on a program, a really well-rounded program, the Prepared program. But it's kind of generic one where they just put it out there and you can do it. There's no one holding you to it. Which is good. It was really good. It was exceptional. I did really well on it. But then at the start of this year, I was like, okay, I want to take this really seriously. So I reached out and got an actual coach, someone that can hold me to doing stuff, making sure I do it. And if I need to swap stuff or do more personalized stuff, and if I'm work around an injury or something, I can do that. So I reached out to Train Think Tank, Max from El Haj from Train Think Tank, and been working with him for, I think it's weird because I think this year is like 2 months into the year. But it's nearly June.
And do you do like check-ins then and like WhatsApp and like all sorts of back and forth
email
constantly?
And Zoom calls and stuff.
Fairly.
Because he's
And
obviously in America.
Yeah. And do you reckon that helps then with your training and keeping you in check and making sure you're getting
exactly.
the right stuff
So
done?
everything's on like an app. So two things that was really good is on the kind of elite athletes he works with, we can all see the scores from other people. So you're like, oh, that's a really good score from some of the best in the world. So that's what to aim for. Or, oh, I did really well in that one because my score's up there, kind of thing, or that kind of stuff. And then he'll comment back on them and say whatever, like he wants to say on it, like good or try this differently, or whatever it is. So you're getting feedback and everything, and you have everything you do is pretty much you have a like gauge on.
Is it ever bad though? Because like if you're looking at something, and I'm not saying the scores are that bad, but if you look at something and you see, right, I did this and then someone else did it like 2 minutes quicker, does it ever affect you, like, or does it drive you on, Is it more like, I want to do that, or is it just
because it's the same way Jamie's saying, like, oh, you discovered the weakness. There was one workout there the other week where it was like wall balls, and it was like the heavy wall ball, but it was like only 25 reps or something, and I had to do it like in like seven was like the biggest reps I could do, and I was like, oh my god, I'm about to explode.
All right, so you found a weakness.
This is how it ends. But
okay.
I was like, after it's like, okay, and I said that to Max, and he's like, oh, okay, perfect. Instead of like just hammering it, we'll just do like, we'll add heavy wall balls into your warm up and stuff. So you're doing like extra 200 throughout the week, but not like in one session where that'll leave you broken.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
So it's like stuff like I would have been like, let's do heavy
nothing
Karen
but
every day,
and
just died. So it was good to have
just that experience.
Like he's worked with people who have podiumed at the CrossFit Games, so it's good to have that talking to you, and just someone to tell you like, oh, you can actually do really well. You're like the gauge, and someone just telling you, oh yeah, you're up there, you'd be able to qualify for this or whatever. It's good to know.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things about being on a program is, if possible, having a coach that can actually talk to you, whether when you have your good days or your bad training days, or just to catch up with you every week and let you know how you're getting on. And it doesn't have to be an individualized coach. Like obviously that's the top level, but usually that's a little more expensive as well. But like, say even on my Head On program, I try to so you're able to, through the True Coach app, you're able to comment and put your scores in. I always say to people, don't just say like done or just tick them off, but just give me a quick comment like
how'd it go.
Like today was really today felt really good. I was really fast on the bike, but my legs were blowing up on the squats, or something like that, because then your coach can say, but clearly your power is increasing and this is what we need to work on now. So it's always ticking the boxes of what you're doing well, but also kind of showing you where your weaknesses are. But it keeps you focused on your training rather than just every day, just maybe looking on Instagram, even if you're following a certain program, if you're just looking at Instagram, picking a workout and doing it, and you're never really getting feedback, then you don't know like what you need to work on or where you need to push. Like I'm guessing the next day a heavy wall ball workout comes up, even if there's rowing to start, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to pace the row or hit it at a good moderate to hard pace, but I'm going to smash the wall balls because I know that I blew up a little early, and Max said that this is what we're working towards. So if I can prove to him that I'm hitting a big score in this, he knows that I'm following that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's just like someone to answer to as well, even on the head on. It's just like putting in your score. Like on other programs, you could just go off, do it. There's nowhere to enter the score. No one's really looking to see if you did the workout.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
don't answer to.
Yeah.
You'll always do a harder effort if I have to put in my score.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
or if there's a leaderboard or something. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Well, it's like the class mentality again as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it make it hard not programming, but like having athletes that you might have done PT with here in the gym and now they're all at home and you kind of just have to trust that, you know, the process is right, or you know, do you have kind of video submissions for your
So like people can enter, the True Coach app is really cool that we use, so you can like enter all your text in under every workout or every movement. There's video examples of every movement, and I can add my own videos in if it's like my own gymnastics progressions. And then it's very much open. People can add their own videos and ask me for feedback on their lifts if it's like a more technical Olympic lift, or sometimes what I often do is if I'm just not happy with someone's like say snatching or overhead squatting, because I feel like it's been at the same weight for a while, but their front squats and back squats and deadlifts are going up and they're really strong, well then I'll just say to them, I want you to video like your snatch every week and send it over to me and we'll do the technical tips. So yeah, I've definitely had to change my coaching style quite a lot over lockdown, because you get invested in a person when you're coaching them. So then when you see them and you're like, I know we can make that lift go way up, and I know your technique is just off, but you're just doing the same thing every day. So that's normally when I start requesting videos and try to give those technical tips as well. On like my own personal coaching side of things. So
that's cool. That's cool to be able to kind of have that feature. And then we were talking about Training Think Tank, and obviously you see at the minute like they've like these massive kind of athlete camps going on. You know, is there anything like that in Ireland, or what's it kind of like training
It
here?
seems like there's a few in the world. Like you look, there's like I can think of maybe 3 or 4 in America. And then I think of maybe John Singleton again. There's a big group in is it in Spain somewhere?
Mallorca. C23, the gym. It's cool. Really cool.
So like there's only a few.
Especially on that scale, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it something you guys hope to have here in Ireland?
We were actually talking about something like that previously. We want to have like I don't know how we'd describe it, but like a competitive thing, maybe on a Saturday where we could like an open gym sort of thing for other Irish competitors, and we could set up some workouts here. Like anyone who wants to compete in CrossFit could come, all levels, but like
savage.
you know,
it's
just
a
post-COVID
world.
that'd
be so cool.
Because what we're trying to do for the gym here is, like, every gym has its own like unique kind of selling point, and obviously we've got a good few competitors here, but we want to be able to have it so that the classes are regular CrossFit classes where you can be just starting out CrossFit, or you can be
just in for
really
fitness,
competitive. So we're going to have our normal baseline CrossFit classes. We're going to have our competitors classes for anyone who like wants to compete or have a bit of a higher intensity level. And then we also want to have like an open gym kind of during the day or on the weekends, where anyone following my program or any program, but they really want to be competing in competitions, I suppose, and eventually get to sanctionals or regionals or whatever, however the kind of system changes to semi-finals, and they can just drop in and train with us. As well as our training camps as well, our camps. And we want to do a surfing camp over the summer if it's possible. Which Connor will be fucking all over.
I'll lead the surf camp. That sounds perfect.
Exactly. But for myself, like for my training before Sam moved over here, I used to try to either do the weightlifting 101 camps or the Mallorca camps with John Singleton, or I think I did one other style of camp as well. But I was basically searching for camps because I'd only really get to train with Sam maybe on a Friday, and that was later into it. Even before I was training with Sam, I was more just being like, if I can spend 1 or 2 weeks a year just surrounded by elite athletes, then you kind of see, shit, they're really good at that, I'm not good at that, that's what I need to work on. Or you get really good technical tips and that type of thing. It's really important to be surrounded by athletes that are better than you. Like, it might be a good ego boost winning your class every week. But if you're not being beaten or you're not being surrounded by people, like even in this podcast when I'm just sitting here chatting, like we pick up things off each other, like, oh, you do that but you're eating your greens, or you do that adding all of those carbs into your your shake in the morning. So I think being surrounded by like good athletes or athletes that are better than you or at the same level, you get all these tips and then you constantly improve. So
deadly. Yeah, it'd be very cool to see kind of smaller competitions popping up around the place, because I know there's Jim and Wicklow that does like the Poseidon Games and stuff, like little things like that pop up, that even if you're not at like, you know, the highest level to compete, like, you know, you're not going to the filthy 150 or anything, but just kind of a gym
the filthy
doing
150, to be fair, is kind of like for all levels really as well.
Fair enough. Why not? It's still,
the sanctional one was different.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's really cool to see those kind of things. So it'd be deadly to see something like that.
And also, you need to surround yourself with like good athletes, no matter what level you're at. There's always there's always going to be athletes around you at your level, because I don't think at any stage you think, okay, I'm at the top level now. It starts with gym competitions, then it goes to like local competitions in another gym, then it goes to like the filthy 150 community level, then maybe sanctionals. But when you get to sanctionals, you're like, okay, I want to be in the top 10 or I want to win it. Then when you win it, you're like, I'm at the games, but I'm at the bottom of the games. In the middle or at the podium. So you're never going to decide you're at the best.
Something.
And that's why you need to surround yourself with people, because there's usually going to be someone better than you, unless you're Fraser or something like that.
But there's also
that would
just
be my advice for anyone getting into it.
Just the environment. If you have the same competitive drive and you're in an environment where that's fed, like that's good. That's going to make such a difference. Even if it's like just in the room, you show up and everyone's training hard. You walk into the gym one day, everyone's training. It's go time. You know, if you're walking into a gym that doesn't really give a shit about competitions or whatever, you just walk in and you're like, it's like a drain. You're like, oh, I might as well sit on the couch, or oh, I won't do the extra accessory work, you know. But here it's like, no, like we're all doing it. We're all putting in the same work. So it's like, you just, even without 100%. Saying it, you're just motivated to do it. Because there's a big two types of people, I guess. The fountains, like there's fountains here promoting the energy, and then there's drains taking it away from you. You know,
I'm a fountain. I'm happy with that.
I'm a fountain.
I'm a fountain.
No, I think you're dead right, because like when I joined here, obviously, like this is the first CrossFit gym I'd been in, but like I've been in other like functional fitness gyms, like without the CrossFit element. But even in like the first week here, I knew very little. You know, Sam Darley taught me my what's it called, chest to bars and like all that kind of stuff. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I know. No, he's somewhere in the gym. Shout out Darley. But no, and like as soon as you kind of jump into the class the next week, it was like, although it was really competitive, it was like, you didn't feel like, even though you knew nothing, you weren't able to compete. You know, it was just whatever level you're at, just pushing yourself as hard as you can at that level.
It's not about it's about the environment.
I think it was really good. So
and that's what we're aiming for.
Cool. And you're hoping to snag a few more kind of up and coming athletes.
If anyone's listening and they would like to get in touch about some not training camps almost, but like miniature training days. Like we could organize one every month or something on a Saturday or something. We could get a big crew, run a few heats, have 3 workouts where we all do it, and a big lifting session or
exactly.
And even if it's just, again, maybe if you don't like have that push in your gym or something, like just get in touch and we'll organize something.
Mini kind of
post COVID, it's, or not that COVID's ever gone away, but post lockdown, I'd say we'll get on that. Like, you know, 100%.
And we're not necessarily trying to get people to like join the gym. Like, we're not trying to poach members from other gyms. It's more just having
environment.
One big training day once a week, or 2-3 times a month, because just the energy in the room when we run a head-on camp, even say, the energy in the room, like I want to join in a lift because I know there's a high chance of me hitting a PB, just because everyone's screaming, it's truck going, it's just wild.
Good.
And even sometimes coaching the movements, you tighten up your own technique because you're remembering stuff because you're coaching it that you wouldn't even really focus on sometimes. So bring the energy.
All right, that sounds good. Look, I'm happy there, lads.
All right.
So
I'm not doing the outro because I don't have one yet still. Jamie, do you have an
Jamie's
outro?
on the outro.
So pressure's on?
No, but next week we're hoping that Sam Darley's going to sing a song for us or a poem. So we'll bring that to you very soon.
Don't get your hopes up, though.
Get your hopes up. And if he doesn't show up, message him. Message him personally.
Just cold call him.
Instead of leaving a review, my request this week is to message Sam Darley on whatever of your chosen social media.
Can we say everyone has to send him an emoji? Just
A random emoji.
Everyone just please send Sam
Eggplant
Darley.
emoji.
Eggplant.
An
Okay,
eggplant
if
and
you've
a-
listened this far,
and
send Sam
like
Darley
water.
an eggplant emoji.
Real talk.
Real talk.